Hey everyone, welcome to this introduction for the Getting Started in Mixed Reality series that I've been working on. The goal here is to build a foundation of which you can use to start working on your own mixed reality project. We will be targeting the Quest 3, or at least that's what I'll be using, but this should work with the 2 and Pro also. And everything that we're going to do does require Unreal Engine 5.3.2, as the mixed reality utility kit doesn't work with lower versions. What we will have to do, is this is important, is use our build package project. So for mixed reality and pass through, it's not really supported on desktop play and editor, so all you'll get is a black screen, and later down the line we won't be able to pull in scene data or request permissions from the headset, which we're going to look into doing. So for this to work, you do need to be able to build a standalone application that runs on the headset. And if you can do that with a default VR template, you should be good to go to just jump straight into this. So what we're going to do is we're going to start off at the very beginning. We're going to look at how we can actually install the Meta XR and Mixed Reality Utility Kit plugins, so we can use that to build a foundation to create our mixed reality application. What we're going to do is we're going to start by creating a manager component, which inside of that component is going to allow us to check for permissions from the headset and do some stuff based on those permissions. For example, if we don't have those permissions, we can tell the headset to quit out the application. If we do succeed in giving the permissions that we need, such as scene data, we'll look at starting the game and spawning a menu. And then from that menu, we're going to look at creating a blueprint which contains our widget interactions, our widget. We're going to tell it to face the player, similar to what you'd find in the First Encounters demo. We'll hop over to the headset and I'll show you what we're going to build in a moment. But in the meantime, I just want to keep showing you what we're going to kind of look into. And this main menu is going to work from here. So we're going to have a screen, which when the headset boots up, if the headset doesn't, or the application doesn't detect scene data, so let's say this is the user's first time they're booting up their headset, the first application they chose is your VR application or mixed reality application, we're going to then tell the headset that we need to set up our scene. So we're going to code this in, so you can press the button in the game and it will communicate with the headset to be like, you've got to build this. And then once that's done, it'll come back and it'll change it for us. So it'll then change us to a rescan option and a play button. And the rescan will also do a scene detection, so we can set that up. While the play button then takes us onto a caution screen with a countdown and a timer, which we can back out of. And then once that's done, we can tell our project to begin our game. So we've got a lot to cover, and the idea is at the end of this, you'll have a foundation for a main menu, which does all your permission checks in the correct order. So when you get to starting your game, everything loads in correctly, and you can kind of go from there. We'll also take a look at the end to build specific scene data, so how we can create actors that work with our mixed reality utility kit Anker actor spawner, and then how we can spawn these in and create custom blueprints, which are available in here. So at the end of this, you should have a main menu that will actually detect if the headset's being given the permissions, and then we'll be able to model our room and scan it in. So let's hop over to the headset and we'll take a look at what we're going to do. Okay, so now that we're in the headset, what I've done is I've deleted my space setup. So when we boot up the application, so Mixed Reality Utility Kit Tutorial Series, we can get permission, and you can see here that the first menu that opens asks to set up your scene. So we can set up our scene, we get the permissions window, and then we can go through it, where I can go and then map my room. So once I've gone ahead and mapped my room, I can do continue. It's then going to ask us to adjust anything. We're going to continue again. Set this up as a living room. It's done. We're going to add furniture. So I'm going to add in my desk, a window, a door, and then we'll say finish outlining objects. So now if we hit complete, what's going to happen is we're going to jump back to our application, and we can see that our menu is now changed. And it's asking us if we want to rescan the scene or we can play it. So we're going to do play, where we get a countdown. And at the end of that countdown, it's going to spawn in our room. I've got a window with pass-through, which I'll show you how to set up. And then we've actually got our gun that we can pick up and grab and interact with. So now that we've actually set up our room, if I quit out and we go back into the application, so I load this back up, what we're going to do is instead of going to scene setup, we go exactly straight back to the rescan and play menu. And this menu follows our play around, so we can see where it is in the physical space. So the idea is at the end of this, you've got a starting point of where you can build your application from. And I didn't want to skip anything, so we go through the entire process, including the designing the UI and setting up event dispatches and blueprint communication. So hopefully by the end of this series, you should have a solid idea of how we can actually communicate with the headset. We can get access to permissions, and we can also build our scene data so you can then start building your own project. I do want to reiterate that you will need to build the APK. VR preview is not going to work for this, so make sure you can do that before you start the series, otherwise I'm not going to be able to help you. But if you have any questions as you're going through it, make sure to head over to the Discord where you can ask any of those, or the comment section down below. And if you want early access to this before it comes out on YouTube fully, then it'll be available through Patreon through the mega thank you tier. So make sure to head over there if you want all 13 videos up in one go. Big thank you to everyone over on Patreon for making this possible, for allowing me to put the time in and figure all this out. For now, let's hop in and we'll get started.